Hey everybody, this is Wendy. Welcome to week 2 of the 12 weeks of Christmas. So excited that you're here. Today I'm going to make this really cool card for you in 2 different ways. And I have to tell you that the video and photos really don't do this card justice. We're going to use Snowflake Sentiment Stamp Set and the Swirly Snowflakes Thinlit dies. And we're going to make kind of a focal edgelet sentiment card. So I've got a piece of 5.5 by 4, no, I'm sorry. It's 5.5 by 4.25 cardstock, and I'm cutting it at 2 7/8, and then I'm moving it down and cutting it at 1 3/4. Now, it's really important that you do that in this order because you need the paper to be the correct amount or the correct measurements from the top and the bottom in order for the sentiment to fit in the middle. And then you're just going to discard that center piece from the card altogether. You don't need that, so you can save it for another project. And I've got a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock here. I'm folding it in half to make an A2 size card. And I'm going to just burnish the edge. And then you'll see here that my top piece that we cut will fit right at the top and the bottom at the bottom, and it leaves a space for me to stamp the sentiment. So I'm going to do a little bit of masking for my sentiment. I have stamped it in Old Olive ink, but I first took a piece of Post-it note tape and just covered up that little bottom part of the sentiment so that it would only say Merry Christmas. I used the bottom portion of that paper we cut to use as a guide for my stamping. And now I'm going to take these pieces that I've pre-cut out of Whisper White cardstock from the Swirly Snowflakes framelits. Now, this is a little bit tedious. You have to sit and poke out all those little pieces where all those little holes are, but it's totally worth it. So I highly recommend that you do it. And then I'm going to just trim away any little excess piece here that hangs over. All I did for creating the swirly snowflake edgelet piece is I cut it at 5.5 inches long by 1.25 inches tall. So I knew it would be just enough to cut. And I'm going to show you on the next card because I'm going to make 2 cards here for you. Because I wanted you to have the directions for this card going in both directions, vertical and horizontal. So now I've put foam tape all over the back of this bottom piece and layered it down, and then I'm going to layer this piece down on top of the card base exactly the same way. So first I am using snail adhesive and adding the beautiful edgelet, and then I will add the foam tape on the back and add it to the top of the card. So the reason I said that it doesn't do it justice on video is because when you look at this, it's really cool because the sentiment really, it's like a focal point for the sentiment because the bottom and top piece pop up away from the sentiment. So it's kind of recessed into the card. It's just a really beautiful card. It's very elegant, very clean and simple. The one thing I thought would be pretty was adding a couple rhinestones there at the bottom. Okay, we're going to make the exact same card but in a different direction. By the way, I'm using the Be Merry Designer Series paper on this card, and I used the Merry Little Christmas Designer Series paper on the other card. So the process here is exactly the same, except the paper was also still cut at 5.5 by 4.25. But instead, I cut it at 3 1/8 first, and then 1 3/4. So just a little bit bigger at the top. Okay, so now I'm cleaning off that stamp set that I already used, because now I wanted to stamp in Cherry Cobbler. I thought it would be really pretty to keep everything very monochromatic. So I stamped in Old Olive on the last card to match the paper, and now I'm going to stamp in Cherry Cobbler to match this paper. I love this paper with the little reindeer all over it. It's so sweet and cute, and just a really fun Christmas paper. So I'm lining this up at the top and then doing the exact same thing here, just kind of having a bit of a guide as to where to stamp my sentiment. And then I flipped this over because I thought on the off chance that I didn't stamp correctly, I'd rather mess up the back of this than the front, where I've already laid down that edgelet piece because it's white. So I thought, oh man, if I got cherry cobbler on that, I would be done for. Luckily, I stamped it perfectly and didn't have any problems. Sorry about the camera shake there. And then I just wanted to show you how I cut the top edgelet piece, because this piece is a little different. The edgelet is actually about 5.5 inches long, so it works great on a 5.5 inch piece of cardstock. But this piece of cardstock is 1.25 by 4.25. So what I did is I lined up the center with the center of the cardstock. And then I ran it through the Big Shot instead of cutting it first and trimming each edge. It was just easier to cut the cardstock first and then run it through the Big Shot. So this is the part that I told you was tedious. I've cut it all out because you don't want to see me sit and do that. But I had to sit and poke those with the paper piercer. So needless to say, I didn't make a ton of these cards simply because I didn't want to sit and poke out all those little holes. Well, staying true to form, I have a special video for you today if you're part of my email list that is only available to my email subscribers. So make sure you're signed up for my email. It is a video that still features this stamp set, and it will not be available on YouTube except for 2 people who have subscribed to my email. So when you sign up for my email list, you're going to get an email that tells you to confirm that you want to be on my list. You want to confirm that email, and then you're going to be taken to a page where you can click and go to all my 12 week of Christmas exclusives. And so you can either bookmark that page and save it, or you can get it in my email every week. I'll be sending it out weekly until 12 weeks of Christmas is over. So that's just my thank you for signing up for my email, is getting some exclusive tutorials. If you want to purchase any of the products that you saw here today, the items are listed in the description below. You can watch other videos from me. You can visit my blog to see some cool stuff at loveandstampin.com. And you can also subscribe to my channel here as well by clicking on the little circle with my face in it. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.